So the other day I was watching a clip from the Tucker Carlson show, and he came up to this part. He was talking about how there's some religious aspects of the political left, which I have discussed before in several videos, and I'm in agreement with him on that one. But he said this one line: "No child is born evil. Sin cannot be inherited." That's insane. Okay, that's two lines. And then it made me think of making this meme. So the meme's going to be on the screen right now. But let me give you some background on my relationship with Tucker Carlson. I think he's pretty genuine with some things. He seems genuine, and even people like I've mentioned before. I think I've mentioned before. Even someone like Rachel Maddow on MSNBC, who I think is maybe his antithesis. That word is strange. Antithesis. That's the word. Okay, so she's also genuine. She seems to truly care. I don't think she's just acting. I don't think Tucker is just acting. Yes, they're selling a product. It's putting something out there. I have a friend of mine who is starting a thing, propaganda. He's talking about everything people say is propaganda. When it comes to actual television news, they are actually selling you something. It is in their interest for you to watch. I think it's possible. Like Tucker was on MSNBC and CNN and those people before. Then he started moving more. So some of these people, I think there's some of them who I see, and it really seems like their actual personal political interests are also tied into what they're saying. So with that, they will actually have more of a tendency to stress certain things. But I do appreciate some of the things Tucker Carlson actually says and does. Even I appreciate some of the things like Rachel Maddow says and does, because they're just full on with their message. They're into it, and there are some true believers who come to the things. But I get it's still a product. It's still a product. But when he says something like this, "No child is born evil. Sin cannot be inherited." That's insane. And he's talking about the political left. I've talked about the similarities. Specifically, you can check out this one video. I'm going to put a link up on the screen right now in the corner. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a little thing that's come up with an eye. You can click on that and you can see it. I was talking about how people on the religious right, the people on the religious right, are some of the most aware and worried about the actual indoctrination of children by the political left in the cathedral, which is the education system, the media system, the media, mainstream media, the entertainment system, because they understand that if you take a kid and you put them in the church and you have them in those systems, you can indoctrinate them into your faith. So when the people on the political left are doing that, in progressive-ish statism, metheism, things like that, they're most aware because they know that stuff works. But when Tucker says this, and Christianity, even the clip I was actually watching had actual ads and everything, and there's like an end and somebody talking about the truth and the facts and things, and talking about from the Bible and all these proofs and things like this. Tucker's talking about how truth is important and all these things. I'm like, you're Christian, right? I mean, there's also another meme I made recently with the Black Lives Matter. Some white lady had it, white female had it face painted on the fist, face painted onto her face. It's the same as the cross. It's a crucifix. You're holding this torture symbol. I also had a separate video talking about how with the George Floyd thing, some people are saying the George Floyd thing is a hoax used for political, socio-political reasons and benefits to push forward a certain agenda and a belief system that these people have. I don't trust that. And then they'll, on the other hand, completely believe that the Jesus of Nazareth story from the 4 different Gospels is complete fact, and they won't connect those together. So that compartmentalization, I'm wondering, how is this happening? Does he not notice this? Is he doing this on purpose? Because there's some people on the Tucker Carlson show, like Kathy Aru in particular. First of all, she's got an amazing neck. Necks are, this is completely aside. It's not even on this. I don't know why I talk about this because this is my video, whatever. It's a rant. I'm over here. So with the whole thing, necks I think are a very underrated actual physical feature. I don't know why the attraction comes with that, but there might be something genetic for why it is. But she has this amazing neck and things like that. But she has these also, I think it's also her eyes, and that's more of the neoteny, which is a positive thing of the eyes. I have a separate video coming up on that, on why eyes are attractive. I don't know when I'm going to post this, but that's scheduled for later on. Okay, so back to Kathy Aru. I am 100% sure she's a Poe. I'm like 99.9% sure that she's a Poe, that she's acting out a character in order to lampoon certain things or to focus or to talk about certain things. Because some of the things she says, I have seen random people online actually say things. I think with the left, I have a separate video again with that, talking about how the left is a meme. So they're actually live action role play their actual memes instead of using pictures and things. It's a different way of communicating kind of the same kind of things. But I think they find some random thing and like, oh, this is something that some random person online has actually said, but we can't get this random person to actually come onto TV and actually have this thing because they're like, why are you talking about this random person? So Kathy Aru, I think, has taken it upon herself to embody some of these inane things. And I think she's also live action role playing. Just how like Lady Gaga is actually Stefania Giannamotta or whatever her name is. But whenever she's in public, she's Lady Gaga. She's playing this character. She's live action role playing Lady Gaga. And I think that's what Kathy Rue has done. And is gaining her money. She's also a businessman. She's actually doing a job. You look at actors. Jean-Luc Picard isn't actually Jean-Luc Picard, but when Patrick Stewart is out there being Jean-Luc Picard, playing a character that's reading, he's actually playing that character. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Those people in Times Square, it's not really Spider-Man in that suit. You go to Disney World, it's not really Mickey Mouse in that suit. It's a person, but they're playing a character and they're being paid for it and it's making a living. So I think with some of that, that's part of what's going on. So with this, I'm kind of just wondering, is Tucker Carlson not aware of the connection between that? Do the Christian viewers just go there and be like, yeah, original sin, like, you can't be born with sin. You can't tell people they were born with white guilt. You can't pass on these evils of their parents. You can't do this. But then God supposedly created us, created the Garden of Eden, created the situation for Adam and Eve to be there. Then Adam and Eve actually had the fruit situation, eating from the tree of knowledge, and then now there was original sin that was passed down from that, and now humans are all sinful and things. And it's not just Christianity. This whole idea of just being inherently evil is a thing that goes across many different religions and faiths. So I'm wondering, is this a psy-op? Are some of these things psy-ops to kind of slowly get people away from certain things? And for psy-op, I'm going to go to Wikipedia here. It says psychological operations. It's for United States because this is the kind of context I'm using it. Are operations to convey selected information and indicators to audiences to influence their emotions, motives, and objective reasoning, and ultimately the behavior of governments, organizations, groups, and individuals. So these are the things. There's white psy-op, gray psy-op, black psy-op, media psy-ops. So let's just jump down to the media and see what they say in this one. Media psy-op conveys messages via visual, audio, and audiovisual media. Military psychological operations at the tactical level are usually delivered by loudspeaker and face-to-face communication. For more deliberate campaigns, they may use leaflets, radio, or television. Strategic operations may use radio, television broadcasts, various publications, airdropped leaflets, or part of operations with material placed in foreign news media. Now, this is the thing they're talking about. Different psyops talking about what the Russians were accused of doing with Trump was some kind of psyop. What the Chinese are just doing in general. There was this thing they paid millions of dollars to the New York Times, Boston Globe. I'm not going to say Boston Globe. New York Times, Washington Post. I think the Wall Street Journal, there's a China Daily something newspaper that's owned by the Chinese Communist Party. That's kind of that puts these, this is a China newspaper that has a China Daily thing that's put as an insert into some major publications in the United States of America. That's supposed to look like this is just part of the actual newspaper, but it's actually propaganda. It's an advert for China. And those are psyops. So these are things to slowly change the way people think and behave. And I do think, the powers that be, when I look at people doing the different kind of photo ops, when Trump walks out there and holds the Bible, like somebody's talking about, he's holding it, not even like he's never held a Bible, like he's never held a book before. Yeah, it was an odd thing, it's holding that book. But you see that, you've seen other presidents do this before. This is a common thing politicians do. So when you see Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats take that knee wearing the kente cloth, which turns out supposedly was some cloth that was worn by like the Ashanti, who were actually slave people who actually were selling slaves in Africa. But they're all these connected things. It's messaging. It's just trying to deliver things. I don't think Nancy Pelosi hates black people. I don't think she's really necessarily a big supporter of Black Lives Matter, but she understands in order to maintain her job, the things she really cares for, which is maintaining power, and she actually might have an idea of the United States of America that is positive. That also includes her having a better life. Same thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump isn't doing it just to harm his life. He thinks he likes the United States of America, his idea of the United States of America. He wants to be in that position. He's going to take certain damage for it, but he's thinking this is going to be better all in all for the United States of America, for myself, for my kids. People have this. I'm not against people being selfish, but I'm saying it's messaging. They're sending messages. They're just communicating certain things. They say things they don't 100% believe because they understand the utility of saying that. And I think people in power, I've been saying this for a while, I do not think the popes really believe God exists, the Christian God. I think they know way more information about how the thing came to be, how the structures actually are, than I do, and I don't think they actually believe it. But they do believe that it is in their best interest and the world's best interest to keep saying they do believe. So when it comes to this, I don't know if Tucker Carlson is really Christian. I do know that he believes it's in his best interest and the world's interest for him to keep saying he is. Now, could people understand that it is in the best interest of the United States of America to not be the most Christian or most religious of the developed countries in the world? Could they realize we need to get away from this sort of thinking, because this sort of thinking also opens the door for the leftist type of thinking that is more damaging, that is not as much in our control. We put these weapons out there and other people can do it. We condition people to not actually have an accurate understanding of history because we're hiding certain things about history for our benefit. Then these other people can come and also change history around. I just recorded a recent video talking about like how the word capitalism came to be, and like something like capitalism that came out and it was actually invented by some socialists. It was coined by a socialist, this French Proudhon or something, and then after in sometime in the 1900s, mid 1900s, like 1950 around there, Rothbard actually took it and started changing it, appropriated. So he did that, and those things kind of changed. So that's just a term that we normally use that kind of changes. These definitions are changing. Words are changing. Words are flexible. Instead of just being like, this is the way things are. This is the way history actually was. America is great now. We like this system, but let's not sell you on this dream. Let's sell you on the actual reality. Let's not encourage people to actually just, vote for this person because they believe like you. Instead, let's actually provide them with actual solid reasoning, and let's actually teach them critical thinking. So they're trying to get people more towards that because that's what the future is going to be built on. That's what we understand. That's what makes people more competitive in this information age, in the age of understanding. So they have to find a way to wean people away from faith and original sin, which I think is a basis for a lot of negative things. Also, I have another separate video talking about how original sin might be actually the basis of taxation, because if you're inherently bad and you inherently owe something to some higher power, you have to pay back something that from birth, then it also makes sense that this state also has these things that you inherently have to pay something back to the state because you're inherently dependent and use and need that absolution. So there's all these things. There's things tied in. Do you think it's a Psy-Op? That's one thing I'm wondering. Do you think some of these things are a Psy-Op? How honest do you think Tucker Carlson is about it? What do you think was behind him saying this specific line? Because it had me perplexed. I was like, did I hear that right? And who else heard that? Did anybody else hear that? Okay, so that's it for now. This is part of my Meme Whisperer series. There's more of these. In these ones, I normally get things from online, maybe tweets or people who post things. It's normally specifically memes. Sometimes it's memes I made and then I kind of explain them, or it's just a meme that's out there, a meme that's been going on for a while, or a new meme, and I look at it and I'm like, okay, this is kind of my analysis. Literally, people literally mean figuratively. This is what I'm figuratively meant, this sort of thing. So yeah, okay, so that's it for now. Till next time, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section. There's links below to our merchandise store as well. And till next time, goodbye.
This is awesome. Feels like some Star Trek shit.
You can take better pictures upstairs, to be honest. But
I'll come back. Yeah, not right now.